They weren't a bad couple. That's the part nobody tells you. They weren't toxic. They weren't cruel. There was no dramatic betrayal, no single conversation that ended it. They were, by every visible measure, a good couple. And somehow, gradually, invisibly, without either of them fully noticing it was happening, the relationship died anyway. This is the story of most relationships that end. Not the ones that blow up, the ones that quietly fade, that hollow out, that become roommate arrangements between two people who once couldn't imagine being without each other. The most dangerous threats to a relationship are never the dramatic ones. They're the quiet ones, the ones that feel completely normal, the ones that have been happening so long they've stopped being noticed at all. Today, 8 behaviours that quietly kill even the best relationships. None of them are explosive. All of them are devastating over time. And at least 3 of them are happening in most relationships right now, including yours. Stay until behaviour 8. It's the one nobody talks about, and it might be the most insidious of all. Welcome to the Relationship Blueprint, where we go beneath the surface of relationships and give you the psychology and the tools to protect what matters. Subscribe if you're new. New video every week. Let's get into the 8. One idea before we get to the behaviours, because it reframes everything. Relationships don't usually end because of what happened. They end because of what stopped happening. The small investments that got deprioritized, the repairs that never got made, the bids for connection that went unanswered for long enough that the person stopped making them. Gottman's research on this is striking. Couples who stay together long-term respond to each other's bids for connection, a touch, a comment, a look, around 86% of the time. Couples who eventually divorce or separate, around 33%. Not because one group loves more, because one group has developed habits that keep connection alive, and the other has developed habits that quietly drain it. A relationship is not a fixed thing you either have or don't have. It is a living system that requires ongoing, intentional tending. Stop tending it, and it doesn't stay the same. It slowly dies. Here are 8 ways that process happens, often completely invisibly. Behaviour, 1 of 8. Letting bids for connection go unanswered. A bid for connection is any attempt, however small, by one partner to engage the other. A comment, a touch, a look that says, "Are you there?" A funny video they thought the other would like. These bids are not grand gestures. They are the basic unit of relational currency. And in most long-term relationships, they become so ordinary that they stop being noticed and stop being answered. When bids consistently go unanswered, something important happens. The person making them doesn't usually confront it directly. They just slowly stop making them. The comments become less frequent. The reaching out diminishes. The desire to share starts to find other outlets or disappears entirely. And one day, both people look up and realize they don't really talk anymore. Neither can say exactly when it happened. How it shows up. I was just saying, "Yeah, cool." Back to the phone. The comment absorbed without response. The moment closed before it opened. Why it quietly kills. Every unanswered bid is a micro withdrawal from the relationship's emotional account. Over time, the account goes into deficit, and the relationship begins running on empty, without either person quite knowing why. Do this instead. Practice what Gottman calls turning toward. When your partner makes a bid, however small, respond. Not with a performance, with presence. Look up, say something back, acknowledge the moment. It costs almost nothing and compounds into everything. Try. "Oh yeah, Tell me more about that. The quality of a long-term relationship is built not in the grand moments, the holidays, the anniversaries, but in the 10,000 small moments in between when one person reaches toward the other. What you do in those moments is what the relationship actually is. Behaviour, 2 of 8, keeping score, the ledger that never balances. Most couples who keep score don't know they're doing it. It feels like awareness, like fairness, like simply noticing that the weight is not being distributed equally. But scorekeeping in a relationship is corrosive, not because it's unfair, but because it fundamentally misunderstands what love is. Love is not a transaction. It is not an exchange economy where equal input must produce equal output. The moment you start tracking debts, you have introduced a market logic into something that only functions on a gift logic. Scorekeepers are also reliably unreliable narrators. We consistently overcount our own contributions and undercount our partners, not out of dishonesty, out of proximity. We feel our own effort from the inside. We only see theirs from the outside, and the inside always looks like more. How it shows up. I always do the dishes. You never initiate. I was the one who apologized last time. I've done everything this week. The language of always, never, and I've the grammar of a ledger. Why it quietly kills. Scorekeeping converts a partner into a debtor. It replaces generosity with accounting. It poisons the well of goodwill, because every act of love becomes either a credit entry or a source of resentment when it's not matched. Do this instead. Shift from what are they contributing to what can I contribute? Radical, yes. But research on relationship satisfaction consistently shows that partners who focus on giving rather than tracking receive more in return, because generosity is contagious in a way that accounting never is. The couple that keeps score will always find each other losing. The couple that stops keeping score will often find there was never a shortage to begin with. Behaviour, 3 of 8, treating your partner as an obstacle rather than an ally, the adversarial frame. There is a frame that creeps into long-term relationships so gradually it becomes invisible, the adversarial frame. The slow, unconscious shift from "we are on the same team dealing with a problem" to "you are the problem I am dealing with." It shows up in how arguments are approached, as battles to be won rather than problems to be solved, in how decisions are made, as negotiations between competing interests rather than collaborations toward a shared life, in how frustrations are expressed, as indictments rather than requests. And once the adversarial frame is established, it is almost impossible to have a productive conversation, because every exchange becomes evidence for the prosecution. Every disagreement confirms we are on opposite sides. How it shows up, entering conversations with a point to prove rather than a problem to solve, using "you always" and "you never" as opening arguments, feeling satisfied when you out-argue your partner rather than when you reach understanding. Why it quietly kills. The adversarial frame destroys psychological safety, the foundation of all real intimacy. When your partner feels like your opponent, they stop bringing you the real things. They armor up. They manage impressions. They stop being fully present with you, because full presence with an adversary is dangerous. Do this instead. Before your next difficult conversation, ask yourself one question. Am I about to talk to my partner or at them? That distinction determines everything about how the conversation unfolds. Then try physically sitting beside them rather than across from them. Side by side, facing the problem. Not across, facing each other. Reframe. I don't want us to fight about this. I want us to figure it out together. Can we try that? Behaviour 4 of 8. Stopping the investment in each other's inner world, losing the map. Gottman talks about what he calls love maps, the detailed knowledge each partner holds about the other's inner world, their fears, their current stressors, what they're excited about, what they're struggling with, the names of their friends and what those friendships mean, the dreams they hold and the grief they carry. In new relationships, we build these maps obsessively. We want to know everything. We ask questions because the answers feel essential. We hold the details. In long-term relationships, the map building stops because we believe we already know the person. But people change. Their inner worlds shift, evolve, deepen. And if you stop asking questions, you stop updating the map. Until one day, you realize you know who your partner was 5 years ago very well, and who they are today, not nearly as much. How it shows up. Assuming you know what they're thinking without asking. Not knowing the name of the person causing them stress at work. Asking how their day was, but not listening to the answer. Realizing in a conversation that you don't actually know how they feel about something you assumed you knew. Why it quietly kills. Being unknown is one of the most profound sources of loneliness a person can experience. And the cruelest version of it is being unknown by the person who is supposed to know you best. People who feel unknown in their relationship don't just feel unloved, they feel invisible. Do this instead. Bring back the curious question. Not, how was your day? But something specific and genuine. What's taking up the most space in your head this week? Is there something you've been wanting to talk about that we haven't gotten to? What are you most looking forward to right now? Ask to find out, not to confirm what you already think you know. The most intimate thing you can say to your partner is not, I love you. It's, tell me something I don't know about how you're feeling. That question keeps the map current. And a current map is the difference between a partner who knows you and a housemate who lives with you. Behaviour 5 of 8. Letting resentment accumulate without addressing it. The silent poison. Resentment is the most patient killer of relationships. It does not announce itself. It does not demand attention. It simply accumulates, drop by drop, from every unaddressed grievance, every swallowed need, every moment where something hurt and was absorbed instead of expressed. And because each individual drop seems too small to justify a conversation, it's not worth making a thing of it. The accumulation continues unchecked until the vessel is full, and then, with no apparent provocation, it overflows, and the partner on the receiving end has no idea what happened because they were only present for the final drop, not the 1,000 that came before it. This is why long-term couples sometimes explode over something trivial. The explosion is not about the trivial thing. The explosion is about the vessel that was already full. The trivial thing was just the one drop too many. How it shows up. A pervasive, low-level irritability toward your partner. Finding yourself reacting with disproportionate intensity to small things. Mentally cataloguing their failings without bringing them up. A generalized sense that something is wrong without being able to name exactly what. Why it quietly kills. Accumulated resentment turns a partner into someone you are perpetually disappointed by. And disappointment, held long enough, becomes contempt, which Gottman identifies as the single most reliable predictor of relationship failure. Resentment not addressed becomes contempt. Contempt ends relationships. Do this instead. Make it a rule to address resentments while they are still small. The smaller the grievance, the easier the conversation. The longer you wait, the more loaded the conversation becomes. The phrase, "There's something small I want to mention before it becomes something bigger," is one of the most relationship protective sentences in existence. Try. "This is a small thing, and I almost didn't bring it up, but I know myself well enough to know I need to say it. Can I tell you something briefly?" Resentment is not a sign that you love your partner less. It is a sign that something went unaddressed for too long. The antidote is not more love. It is earlier honesty. Taking a moment here. 5 behaviours in. If you're recognizing patterns that have been running in your relationship for a while, that recognition is genuinely valuable. But some patterns, particularly around resentment and communication, have roots that go deeper than awareness alone can reach. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online, on your schedule. It's in the description, worth looking at. 3 more behaviours, and the last one is the one most people have never heard named. Behaviour 6 of 8, taking each other for granted, the comfort trap. There is a paradox at the heart of long-term relationships. The more secure and comfortable you feel with someone, the easier it becomes to stop noticing them. Their presence becomes ambient, assumed, reliable, background, like air. And like air, it is only noticed when it's gone. Taking a partner for granted is not the same as loving them less. It is often the direct result of loving them so reliably that their presence has stopped requiring conscious appreciation. But the person being taken for granted does not experience it as reliability. They experience it as invisibility. The things they do, the emotional labor, the practical effort, the daily maintenance of a shared life, become expected rather than appreciated. Expected things generate no gratitude, and a partner who receives no gratitude for the things they do starts, slowly, to feel that what they do does not matter, that they do not matter. How it shows up. Not saying thank you for ordinary things, not acknowledging effort, noticing absence when something isn't done, but not noticing presence when it is. Commenting on what's missing from your partner's contribution more readily than what's there. Why it quietly kills. Feeling taken for granted is one of the most quietly demoralizing experiences in a relationship. It does not produce dramatic exits. It produces slow, resigned withdrawal. The person taken for granted stops bringing their full self to the relationship because it has been demonstrated repeatedly that their full self does not produce a different result than their diminished self. Do this instead. Actively narrate your appreciation for ordinary things, not the grand gestures. Those are easy to thank. The ordinary ones. Thank you for making dinner. I noticed you handled all of that today. I don't think I say this enough. The way you take care of things makes my life significantly better. Specific, real, unprompted. Gratitude is not just a feeling. In a relationship, it is a practice, and one that must be actively maintained because the comfort of long-term love is designed to erode it. The couples who sustain appreciation over decades do so deliberately, not because they feel it more, because they express it more. Behaviour 7 of 8, neglecting physical and emotional intimacy, the slow cooling. Intimacy in long-term relationships does not usually disappear in a dramatic moment. It cools, gradually, incrementally, through a series of small decisions that don't look like decisions at all. The evenings that get spent on separate screens. The physical contact that becomes increasingly functional rather than affectionate. The conversations that stay on the surface because going deeper requires a kind of presence that feels effortful at the end of a long day. And here is the thing about cooling. It is much easier to prevent than to reverse. Every degree of warmth lost requires significantly more effort to recover than it would have taken to maintain. Which is why couples who let intimacy cool, even for understandable temporary reasons, often find themselves significantly further apart than they intended when they finally look up. This applies to both physical and emotional intimacy, and the two are not separate. Research consistently shows that physical affection, non-sexual touch, holding hands, hugging, sitting close, directly increases feelings of emotional safety and connection. And emotional intimacy, being genuinely known and genuinely interested, creates the conditions for physical closeness to feel desired rather than obligatory. How it shows up. Physical touch becoming functional rather than affectionate. Conversations that rarely go below the surface. A growing sense that you and your partner are managing a life together rather than sharing one. Sex, if relevant, becoming infrequent or perfunctory rather than connecting. Why it quietly kills. Intimacy is the experience of being close, truly close, to another human being. When it fades, partners may continue to function as a unit while losing the felt sense of being in a relationship at all. The structure remains, but the warmth leaves, and eventually, the structure itself follows. Do this instead. Schedule intimacy, both kinds, before it requires scheduling because it's been lost. Not as a performance, as a deliberate investment. A weekly evening that is genuinely protected. Physical affection made conscious and consistent. And conversations that go somewhere, that ask real questions and wait for real answers. Try. I feel like we've been ships passing lately. Can we actually spend some time together tonight? Phones away, just us. Behaviour, 8 of 8. Failing to protect the relationship from the outside world, the unguarded door. This is the behaviour nobody talks about, and it may be the most quietly destructive of all 8. Every relationship exists within a context. Family, work, friends, finances, social obligations, crises, opportunities. And in modern life, that context is relentless. It does not pause. It does not grant exceptions. It simply continues pressing in on the time, energy, and attention that a relationship needs to survive. The couples who fail to protect their relationship from that pressure do not do so out of neglect. They do so out of the very human tendency to prioritize the urgent over the important. The work deadline is urgent. The family obligation is urgent. The crisis in the group chat is urgent. The relationship, healthy, stable, apparently fine, does not present as urgent. And so it gets the time and energy that is left over after everything else has been served. Leftover time, leftover energy, leftover presence. For a month, that's survivable. For a year, it is erosive. For 5 years, it has redefined the relationship entirely. From a chosen, tended, invested in thing to a background fixture. Something that is simply there, like furniture. How it shows up. Date nights cancelled for obligations that could have been rescheduled. Quality time consistently sacrificed to productivity. The relationship as the thing that gets whatever is left. Never actively choosing each other, just not actively choosing to leave. Why it quietly kills. A relationship that is never actively chosen begins to feel like a default rather than a decision. And people are remarkably good at sensing when they are someone's default rather than their choice. That sensing produces a quiet, pervasive grief that is very difficult to name and very difficult to live inside. Do this instead. Treat the relationship as a non-negotiable in the schedule, not a preference, a commitment. One protected evening per week where the relationship comes first. Not because everything else is less important, but because if the relationship is allowed to become residual, everything else eventually becomes harder too. A strong relationship is not a luxury item. It is load-bearing infrastructure. Weekly check-in. What do you need from me this week, and what do you need us to make time for? You do not protect a relationship by loving it. You protect it by choosing it, actively, repeatedly, visibly, against the constant competition of everything else that wants your time. Love is not enough. Love requires a calendar. 8 behaviours. Look at what they have in common. None of them require cruelty. None of them require bad intentions. None of them feel, in the moment, like threats to the relationship. They feel like efficiency, like comfort, like the natural settling of two people who have been together long enough to stop performing for each other. That settling, that comfort, is beautiful in some ways. It means the relationship has become a safe place to be fully yourself. But safety, without intention, becomes complacency. And complacency, without correction, becomes the slow death of everything that made the relationship worth choosing in the first place. The couples who beat this, and there are many who do, are not exceptional people. They do not love more than average or fight less than average. They simply develop the habit of paying attention, of noticing when a bid goes unanswered and choosing to reach back, of catching resentment while it's still small, of choosing the relationship repeatedly and visibly against everything else that competes for their attention. The best relationships are not the ones that survived because nothing went wrong. They are the ones where two people kept paying attention to each other, to the small moments, to the quiet signals that something needed tending. Pay attention. That is the whole instruction. Which of the 8 do you think is most active in your relationship right now? Be honest with yourself, and if you're willing, drop the number in the comments. I read every single one, and I genuinely want to know where people are landing on this. Share this with your partner, not as a list of what they're doing wrong, as an honest conversation starter about what you both want to protect. Sometimes the most important thing a video can do is begin a conversation that needed to happen. For the deeper context behind these behaviours, the communication patterns video and the apology video go hand in hand with this one. And if resentment hit close to home, the boundaries video gives you the exact language to start addressing it. All 3 are in the cards above. Subscribe to the Relationship Blueprint. New video every week. The best relationships are not built in grand moments. They are tended in ordinary ones. Start tending. I'll see you next week.